Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, and this weekend, Bill Maher once again went on the warpath against the woke left, only this time it happened to be members of his own audience.
I saw this in the LA Times yesterday. What's the matter with Portland? Which is a very, almost all cities are democratically run. And this is one of the big talking points on the right, is that cities in America are falling apart. They're run by Democrats. Why aren't we blaming the Democrats? Okay, this is the LA Times, a very liberal Democratic paper. Shootings, theft, and other crime test city's progressive strain. And they go into the specifics. The number of unhoused people jumped. Shootings in the city have tripled. Homicides are at a record high. Lower level crimes like vehicles being stolen. The Democrat there on the Portland City Commission said, you don't have to watch Fox News to look around Portland and say this is not cool. This is a big Achilles heel for the Democrats, is it not?
Oh, they need to get out in front of it. They need to. I want a Democrat to stand up and say, you know, some people belong in jail. You know, the rapists, the murderers. The
One clap for that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but they do.
I think that's very interesting. No, wait. Let's just pause there. One person is like, yes, some people belong in jail. Everybody else is, no, they don't. Nobody belongs in jail. I agree. I'm going to go out on a limb. Some people do belong in jail.
Yeah, you would think. Now, that was very interesting. That was Bill Maher looking up at his studio audience and basically asking, have you guys lost your minds? And just so we're clear, here's what he was reading from. It's an article on Portland crime statistics from the LA Times. Quote, over the last 3 years, the number of unhoused people in the metro area has jumped from about 4,000 to at least 6,600. Shootings in the city have tripled. Homicides climbed from 36 in 2019 to 97 last year, a record. Lower level crimes have spiked too. More than 1,100 vehicles were stolen in 2022, up from 6,500 in 2019. Now, these numbers are comparable to what we're seeing all across the nation in Democrat-run, Democrat-monopolized cities. These are just par for the course. And so what Maher was saying there is that these woke policies like defund the police or restorative justice and all these efforts to bend over backwards to accommodate the criminal, since criminality is now seen as an expression of victimhood and oppression, is literally imploding, socially and culturally imploding our cities. And that they need to adopt a more classic form of criminal punishment and deterrence to combat that degeneracy. And then he was shocked to find out that there was only one person who clapped. Now, Maher's reaction to his audience, keep in mind his own left-wing audience, is indicative of the way in which the modern woke left is increasingly shutting out any and all remaining vestiges of Bill Maher's more classic liberalism from their ranks. When CNN announced that they were going to be airing portions of Bill Maher's program in a desperate effort to try to boost their audience, the ultra-woke leftists over at the Daily Beast actually questioned why CNN was platforming what they called the anti-vaxxer Bill Maher. They actually referred to him as an anti-vaxxer. I mean, the article goes on to compare Maher. I kid you not. They compare Bill Maher to Donald Trump because they both gave platforms to the rabid anti-vaxxer Bobby Kennedy Jr. But that's just one example among many of how the woke left is treating classic liberals, neoliberals, no differently than they treat MAGA patriots. They see us collectively as an evil enemy that needs to be eradicated from the public and civic life. And so that, of course, raises the question, why does Bill Maher still vote with these people? When Elon Musk announced that he was, for the first time in his life, going to vote a straight Republican ticket, Maher pushed back. He said he could never vote Republican because, well, they didn't believe in climate change or democracy. I kid you not. This is a guy who tries to pass himself off as an intellectual, as the smartest guy in the room. But he said, in effect, that he could never vote Republican because Republicans don't want to inflict the horrors of greenflation on pre-industrial populations around the world so they starve. And because we are anti-democracy. I mean, it's so bizarre because the studies are out there. Studies from the likes of British scholar Matthew Goodwin, who's documented survey after survey showing that nationalist populist Republicans want more democracy, not less, We want more referendums. We want more elections. We want more politicians to start taking seriously our concerns and actually represent us rather than rule us. I mean, it's so fascinating how all the damage that the left has done to election integrity is completely ignored by people like Maher. Why isn't he calling out all these secretaries of state or Democrat governors across the country that have intentionally infested our elections with ballot harvesting and mail-in ballots, even though the bipartisan Carter Commission years ago warned against doing such? Why isn't he calling out members of the American legacy media for launching what Barry Castleman referred to as a coup d'etat against Trump, deliberately suppressing the Hunter Biden laptop bombshell or anything else that could have politically damaged Biden? Why isn't he calling out all of the parties involved in Elon Musk's Twitter files revelations and this collusion between big tech and big government? Or, why is this concern for democracy always pointed in one direction? Well, unfortunately, I think we know the answer to this. I think we all know the reason. But first, make sure to click on that link below and head on over to my special website for the Ready Project Food Supply. No one makes preparing for an emergency more ridiculously easy and affordable than our good friends over at the Ready Project Food Supply. Their food kits last up to 25 years in storage. They include breakfast, lunches, and dinners. And if you act right now, gang, you're going to save 25% off a full 4-week emergency food supply when you click on that link below to my special website. So whatever you do, do not wait. Click on that link. Start building your emergency food supply today. When all is said and done, Bill Maher, at least it would appear, is a product of Hollywood. Or more specifically, he's a product of Los Angeles TV studios and today HBO contracts and the like. He's a player. He's a player in a game, and the rules of the game are written and governed by liberals, most especially at HBO. He knows that while he can be critical of the woke, since wokeness is actually something despised even by many of those on the liberal left, while he can be critical of the woke and critical of the liberal left, he can't leave. He can't declare himself over and done with the left, even though they're increasingly marginalizing neoliberals like Bill Maher. In other words, he doesn't seem to have the freedom of someone like a Dave Rubin. A lot of people forget, or they don't even realize, the Rubin Report was actually an offshoot of the ultra-leftist Young Turks network. Rubin saw himself very much a part of the liberal left. But then he noticed that the liberal left was actually turning into a radical, cancel culture-obsessed mob hell-bent on banning speakers they don't agree with, prohibiting any words not approved as politically correct, condemning those who refuse to speak out against perceived social injustices, right? Silence is compliance. They put trigger warnings on books, on movies, on music, anything that might offend their woke sentiments. And he suddenly realized these guys aren't liberals. These guys aren't progressives. They're regressives. They're not liberal. They're literally totalitarian in every sense of the word. And so he left the left. And his career's been amazing ever since. Maher doesn't seem to have that freedom. Maybe he does. But he certainly seems to be able to reconcile at this point his voting and party identification with empowering the very woke nuts he so vociferously opposes. So I'm not sure quite how he puts that together, than presuming that it has a lot to do with the fact that his career is fully situated within a cultural context that simply doesn't allow him the freedom to fully emancipate himself from the woke left. We'll have to see. But there's no question, Bill Maher, with every passing week, does seem to be coming to the very same realizations people like Dave Rubin came to. The left is increasingly no country for old liberals like Maher. Perhaps it is time for him to find a new political home. As always, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. You'll definitely want to check out my latest video on the Black National Anthem at the Super Bowl, failing big time as it gets a huge backlash. You're not going to want to miss that. So make sure to click on that link, and I'll see you over there. God bless.